I'm back with a bookish week in my life, and the first order of business is setting up my new TBR cart. I pulled out a bunch of different books to go on this cart. My physical TBR is huge, so I just selected the ones that I think I have the most interest in reading in the next few months. And those are the books that we're gonna organize right now on the TBR cart. When I first started doing my monthly TBRs, I was using a TBR cart. Then I just went to pulling books off of my bookshelves. But I've been thinking it's time to bring back the TBR cart. So that is what we're gonna do today. You can't really see, but I have a bunch of piles of books sitting next to me. I think what I want to do is organize these on the cart by genre. This top comes off, so I'm going to remove that. So we have 3 shelves to the cart. I think on the top I'm going to do romance. So I've got The Redo List by Denise Williams and Mistakes Were Made by Lucy Score. Both of these will go on the top. Got a couple thrillers next. I have The Naturals and Read Between the Lies. Both of these I'm gonna put on the bottom shelf. I don't have many thrillers, so I think I'll do fantasy for the middle shelf and all other genres on the bottom. Morning Star by Pierce Brown, a sci-fi. 3rd book in the Red Rising series. I have the rest of the series too, but I just want to finish this one in the next few months, so that's the only one I'm putting on the TBR cart for now. I've been putting that one off for way too long. It's too good. I need to read it soon. Alright, the next 2 books in the Legacy series, number 3 and number 4, which is the final book. I read the first 2 books recently, loved it, gave both of them 5 stars. This is dark romantasy, but it's very good. The Let Them Theory, this is nonfiction, so I'm gonna put this on the bottom. I think this is the only nonfiction book I'm putting on here for now. Maybe I'll put it off to the side so I can put more sci-fi books in the middle. Keep the genres together. Soon by You, this is a romance. This one actually comes out in May. This is an ARC I got from a Goodreads giveaway. So that'll go on the top. The books are all falling. Next pile, Dungeon Crawler Carl and The Martian, both sci-fi. These will go next to Morning Star, House of Dragons and Thorn Season, both romantasy. I got The Stand by Stephen King. This is a very long book, over 1,000 pages, and the font is super tiny. So this one will be a big commitment whenever I do read it. But this is horror. I've never actually read a book by Stephen King, but this is the only horror book I have. I think I'll put that next to thriller. I have the second half of the Shatter Me series and the novellas that I haven't read yet. I read this series a few years ago, loved it, and just never read the rest. The second half of it was released later than the first half, so it was like a fine stopping point where I did stop. But I do want to give it a try and read the rest of the series, so that will go on the fantasy shelf. Not quite dead yet, thriller. The cart is filling up. I feel like I picked the perfect amount of books for this. Throne of the Fallen, dark romantasy. That's going to be the last book that fits on the fantasy shelf, so all other fantasy books I'll put on the top. I guess I don't have that many romance books. The Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy and Conform. Both of those are fantasy. I guess Conform is more of a dystopian, but they'll go up here. The Prison Healer and The Hobbit, also both fantasy. Dark Matter and Recursion, both by Blake Crouch. These are both sci-fi books. And then the last 2 books, Reminders of Him and Ready or Not. These are both romance books, so they go on the top. And look how perfectly everything fit on this cart. I could not have planned this better if I tried. I didn't count the number of books or anything. I just picked out the ones I wanted to read in the next few months, and it happened to fit. And there's even a perfect little gap to put my TBR jar. I'm so excited. I did switch up the TBR jar that I'm going to be using I made this one at a mom like crafting event. It was really easy. You just kind of like put the stickers on the jar. But I thought this was so cute and I want to use this as my TBR jar. It's a little bit bigger than the jar I was using before. It's super cute. I can fit my hand in easily and reach the prompts. So that's actually the next thing we're gonna do. Is I have a bag of all my TBR jar prompts that I had made in the past. I have all the ones I've already gone through, all the ones I never got to. But with me having a whole new selection of books on here, I want to go through the prompts, refresh the jar, make sure there aren't any prompts in here that none of these books apply to. So we'll go through all these prompts, and if you're looking for prompt ideas for your own TBR jar, then this will be perfect because I have so many that I've made over the last however many months. I'm gonna film my May TBR right after this, so this will be perfect for me to be thinking about which books apply to all the prompts. And it's getting me really excited to film my TBR, having just gone through all the potential options for the books that I could select. But that video will be out before this one, so if you haven't already, go watch my May TBR. Oh, I did forget, I also have Heat of the Everflame by Penn Cole from the library right now. I've been reading this series. I'm super excited about it because she just recently announced that the fourth book, the final book, Burn of the Everflame, is coming out this year. After the release date being pushed so many times, it's coming out in September. So seeing that made me excited. I read the last book. I'm currently on this one, the third one. So I am gonna put this on the TBR cart as an option as well. And then I have my Kindle with other books on here. I got a free trial of Kindle Unlimited. I've had it before. When I got my Kindle, it came with 3 months free, but the whole Spark of the Everflame series is on there, so that's why I wanted to get Kindle Unlimited again. All right, let's go through all of the prompts. Maybe I'll just push these two back a bit and put the jar right there. That seems good. I like how that looks. Do we want to go through the ones I previously did first or the ones I haven't done? Let's look at these ones. These are all the ones I previously selected. There are a lot of them. I feel like it's been enough time that I can reuse these. So basically I'm going to look through these and see which ones stand out for applying to multiple of the books on the cart. I don't want to pick any prompts where there's only one book for the prompt. I feel like that's not as fun. There needs to be a choice to it. Brown cover. There's nothing with a brown cover, so we don't need to put that prompt in the jar. Title has a number in it. That's not true for any of these either. When I had my whole bookshelf to pick from, there were a lot more options, so I could do very specific prompts. This is why we're going through these. I'll just read the ones that I'm gonna go with. I'm done sorting through the prompts, and I have 61 prompts that I picked out that fit the TBR cart that I have chosen, so we're gonna go through them all because I thought that might be helpful if you also do a TBR jar. There are a lot of good ideas in here. These are all the ones that I'm not using. There are a lot of good ones in here too, but they just don't fit the books currently on the cart, so another time. Once the cart is refreshed, then I'll pull out new prompts again. But here are the ones that are going in the jar. Number 1 being book I don't know much about. Person on the cover, purple cover, 3-word title, arc, 2-word title, library book, match the current season, most recently got this book, a book that I'm excited about, under 300 pages, 4-word title, green cover, red cover, animal on the cover, multiple POV, random number generator picks, greater than 4.4 stars on Goodreads. The chapters have names, dystopian book, includes a map, a book that intimidates me, title starts with M, pink cover, fantasy book, romance book, title starts with T, standalone book, beautiful cover, a book that I think my husband would like, white cover, title starts with N, Enemies to lovers. Thriller. Title starts with H. Book with a movie or TV show adaptation. Start a new series. Title starts with R. An author I have not read before. Continue a series. Color of the cover matches my shirt. Flower on the cover. Title starts with D. Yellow cover. Hardcover. Ebook. Dark romance. Title has of in it. Over 400 pages. Blue cover. Weapon on the cover. Favorite genre. Title starts with the. Sci-fi. New release. 26 books to read in 2026. 5-star prediction. Black cover. An author I have read before. Male protagonist. Orange cover. And the last prompt is 5 or more words in the title. Those are all of the prompts that I'm putting in my TBR jar. I hope that was helpful in giving you some ideas for your own TBR jar, or just interesting to see what the prompts that I could possibly pick are when I do my monthly TBRs. The jar is very full, but I'm gonna go and film my May TBR, and then we'll keep hanging out the rest of the week doing more bookish stuff. I want to read some, so I'll do a little reading vlog. I want to update my reading journal. Since it's a new month, I need to set up my spread. I'm gonna print a bunch of mini book pictures at the library so I can glue those into my reading journal. I try and do that every few months. I already have a ton of book pictures printed, but sometimes I'm missing a couple. So we'll do that this week and we'll see what else. But this was fun. I'm glad we have the TBR jar and the TBR cart all set up. I am currently reading Heat of the Everflame by Penn Cole and absolutely loving this book. This is the third book in the Kindred's Curse saga. The first books, Spark of the Everflame and Glow of the Everflame, were both 5 stars for me, so I'm hoping that this will be too. This is going to be a 4-book series, and the author just very recently announced that the 4th and final book will be coming out this September, so I'm so excited about that. That's kind of inspired me to pick up reading this series where I left off. The second book, Glow of the Everflame, is the last book that I finished. Immediately went and got this book afterwards. I am currently about 200 pages into the book. It is a very long book, 750-ish pages, but I'm loving every page of it. I just reached part 2 of this book last night. The first one left off on a huge cliffhanger, and you do not get answers right away in this book. So I read about the first 100 pages so quickly, wanting to find out what happened to the characters, what's going on, is everyone okay? And still, the book just has me hooked. I love the fantasy, I love the world building, I love that we're seeing other aspects of the world, different realms. I think the friendships are so sweet, the romance is great. Yeah, I am absolutely loving this book so far. So I'm gonna keep reading and I will keep you updated throughout the week. I got my hair cut. It is a lot shorter now and I added a bunch of layers. I like it a lot, but it is very different. My hair was super long before, as you saw, but I feel like my hair grows pretty quickly. So I kind of alternate my haircuts between keeping it long or chopping it short. Since I like it both ways, I feel like it's kind of fun to mix it up, but I like the short hair for now. I think it looks good. I did update my reading journal. I like to, every few months, get a bunch of mini book pictures printed out. And I have a video on exactly how I format that. I don't have a colored printer at home because I don't really need it for anything. So I go to the library to get my book pictures printed for my reading journal. I set up my May spread. So I have my May TBR, and then I have a little calendar ready to mark when I read each book. And then I went back to a bunch of the older spreads and added in some of the pictures that I had just left the slots empty for. I try to think ahead and print out the book pictures that I haven't read yet, but I'm planning to read soon. But sometimes there's a few I'm missing. So for that, I'll just leave the slot blank and write in the name of the book so I remember to go back and add it in. So now my reading journal is completely up to date, which is great. It's always so fun to fill this out. I have continued reading Heat of the Everflame, and it's so good. I love this book, love this series. There's so much going on. It is a hefty book, so it's the end of the week and I only made it about 400 pages in, so halfway. But I love it. There's this big secret that's been hinted at, and it was finally revealed, and it's exactly what I thought it was, which on one hand is a relief and a joy to have guessed what it was, but on the other hand, I'm not happy with what it was. I don't want that to happen to our character. So very mixed emotions, but it's a very well-written book. I love that we're seeing so many other parts of their world. We're seeing so many new magical powers. There's new characters that I like. So this is great. I'm gonna keep reading, but thank you for hanging out with me this week. Be sure to subscribe if you want to see more bookish videos from me, and I will see you in the next one.